Mission objectives are to extract the child soldier's commander and their captive, the General's number 2. This child soldier platoon decided to break away from the Mbeli militants. They took the number 2 captive and have occupied an abandoned village. Start by checking that location on your map. Boss, child soldiers will treat you as an enemy, but they're just kids. See that they don't get hurt. Find the child soldier's commander, and where they're holding the General's number 2 captive. You need to extract them both. You can check the location on your iDroid's map screen. Find and extract the child soldier's commander and the General's number 2. I've sent VI of the target's faces to your iDroid. Be sure to take a look. Reconnaissance is best conducted from high vantage points. I've marked a good spot on your map. Take a look at your iDroid. There he is, the commander. Extract him. Okay, that's the General's brother, his number 2. Get him out of there, boss. Another child soldier has entered the village. Must have been out on patrol. Looks like they had more than one patrol out. Security will be tighter now. Watch yourself. Keep in mind that time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings.
Mekwenda kana muvutuka bo tafamono muke mpangi ya General V muke muntu ya nabo V nge mewaka yo. Pangi ya General ya
The prisoner's starved and fatigued. He won't survive the Fulton extraction. Get him out by chopper. Choose an LZ and we'll send the chopper there. Roger. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. On station at LZ. Extract the General's number 2. Select a landing zone on your iDroid and carry him there. cease to amaze, boss. Mission complete, boss. Boss, about how we report this one to the client. I'll tell them we took heavy resistance from the renegade platoon and the hostage was killed in the firefight. Also, their leader wouldn't let himself be taken alive. I doubt the client will pay us for this one, but we got a big enough reward from the General's number 2 instead. And as for the number 2, he's saying he wants to join Diamond Dogs. I guess he knows what that means for him. He said, if I'm working for you, I can be number 2 or number 200 for all I care.
Good. You captured it alive. Boss, we have an emergency. Many of our staff are falling ill. At first it seemed like a common cold, but before we knew it, blisters started popping up on their chests and... Damn it. I'll fill you in at the ACC. Just get in the chopper.
Look closely. Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop.
Boss, do you remember seeing these symptoms before? The bodies floating around in the oil facility, the bedridden test subjects at the Devil's House. This epidemic looks just like what we've seen on our hunt for Cypher.
So this is the weapon of mass destruction Cypher was working on in Africa.
Boss, the situation is urgent. We need to quarantine the infected and contain the pathogen. Priority now is to prevent more casualties. But the problem is, how do we tell who's infected? During the incubation period, we have no way of knowing who's clean. You'll have to try and guess who's infected before they go symptomatic and quarantine them. That'd be easy if we just knew the route or vector of the infection. From now on, if you even suspect a staff member's infected, use your iDroid to order them into quarantine. Given the situation, the men won't submit to quarantine just because I or the medical team tell them to. But they will listen to you. Of course, it's just a temporary measure until we find a permanent solution. But at least they'd be in solitary isolation so they won't infect each other, and we get the mental care they need. If we do nothing, we'll only lose more people. We have no choice. Boss, open your iDroid. I'll explain how to quarantine staff members suspected of infection. Go to the Mother Base menu and select Staff Management. First, take a look at the quarantine facility we've set up. We'll isolate anyone who's already symptomatic at the quarantine facility. But we have to expect that there are multiple staff who are infected, but asymptomatic. So how do we identify them? At present, we have no way to tell them apart. But there has to be something for us to go on. If you notice anything, reassign staff you suspect are infected to the quarantine facility. We'll monitor them and then contact you if there's a change in their condition. Correctly quarantining these asymptomatic infected will reduce the number of new infections. You should continue with your missions as usual. If Cypher is behind this, going after them should help us determine the root cause of this epidemic. Also, until we identify the pathogen, we can't fire or dispatch any staff. We cannot let this thing spread. Boss, get to the bottom of this fast. We're counting on you. staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? Quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? Quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? Quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? Quarantine the staff you specified. Did you figure out what's causing the infection? Definitely seeing a reduction in the number of full-blown infections. Did you figure out what's causing this, boss? Did it have something to do with staff abilities?
Boss, a new job's come in. It's a hit. I'm the human trafficker who sent Shabani and the others to Nzoyabadia-Bulu, where you ran into Skullface. The thing is, this guy might know something about the disease that's going around Mother Base. The symptoms are similar to the ones we saw at that factory. Start by checking the mission details on your iDroid. logistics officer who works as a human trafficker on the side. The client wants him dead. He's currently on the run somewhere on the savannah with bodyguards. Unfortunately, we don't know what route they're taking. All we have to go on is a coded transmission sent by the PF at the Ditati abandoned village. It appears to be a workup of the target's security plans, but to decipher it, we'll need an intel file with the encryption key. This key should be at the comms facility at the Ditati abandoned village. Check your iDroid to see what the target looks like, as well as the location of the village. Find the route. Find the man. Boss, the target is moving across the savannah. Find him and eliminate him.
Be careful down there, boss.
Abandoned village. That's where the enemy PF's coded transmission came from. There's got to be a transmitter there somewhere. It could have the intel file containing the encryption key. Look for an antenna.
Where are your friends?
Was a civilian abducted by the target. He says the trafficker is trying to make contact with a human rights NGO. He hopes that by handing over his list of buyers, they'll guarantee his safety. But I don't get it. Why an NGO? Why run to someone else for help? Picked up an intel file. According to this information, the target is headed for Gaziba camp. We also have his movement route. I've updated your map. Use the target's route to locate him. Eliminating him will be much harder if he makes it to the Gaziba camp. Take him down on the savannah.
Marked a vantage point on your map. It'll give you a good view of the target's route. I'm sure you'll find a use for that. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
mind that time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings.
The target's getting away. Don't let him make it to that outpost. Hurry!
Eliminate him, however you see fit. Eliminate the target. How you do it is your call. Extracted. We'll let the client know he's been dealt with. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land. Roger that. You gonna extract him? Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
This is P-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. On station at LZ. Cover fire. In hot. Rockets away. This is P-Quad. No targets remaining. Ending attack run and we'll stand by at LZ. This is P-Quad. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude. Departing.
All right, mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time, huh?
trafficker was very talkative. Guinea pigs. That's what became of his kidnapped victims. Says he got a good look at that factory at Zoya Badiabulu when he dropped off some fresh guinea pigs for them, along with our man without a face. His instincts told him to run like the rat he is. Said it wasn't worth the money. Figured he could be next. That's when he went to the NGO for help. He thought that in exchange for his buyer's list, they could set him up with a new identity someplace far away. He had an idea who he was up against, and he didn't want to take any chances. A true rat. But like us dogs, he knew when he smelled trouble. And something else. He said the specimens come from deep in the forest. We don't know what he meant by specimens just yet, but those guinea pig symptoms match what we've seen on the infected at Mother Base. Deep in the forest. Maybe there's the clue we need to beat this infection. Boss, the truth could be right around the corner.
Boss, we finally heard from one of our missing intel team members. He says he has a solid lead on the epidemic at Mother Base. Take a look at the mission details ASAP. A member of the intel unit has gotten a lead on the epidemic that's crippling Mother Base. The problem is, our man has been captured by the PF in his operation area. He's being held at the guard post on the western end of the mine. Boss, we need you to get him out ASAP. Right now, he's only linked to the root cause of the epidemic. Check the VI on your iDroid. That's where the target is being held.
Buddy! Huh? Bakanan!
Talk. Where are your friends?
Boss got an emergency report from the intel team. A vehicle has fled the guard post heading northwest. The prisoner at the wheel appears to be the target. He escaped on his own. The target is no longer in the designated position. Find that vehicle fast.
The target is being held captive in the guard post on the western end. Check the VI on your iDroid. That's where the target is being held.
Where are your friends?
Take a close look at the VI. The target should be somewhere in that area.
Boss got an emergency report from the intel team. A vehicle has fled the guard post heading northwest. The prisoner at the wheel appears to be the target. Did he escape on his own? The target is no longer at the designated position. Find that vehicle fast. That explosion. There's smoke.
Where's the target? Has to be around there somewhere. That's the target. Nice find. I'll send a chopper. Get the target to the RV.
Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Keep in mind that time doesn't stop while you use the iDroid. You can even move around while using it, but pay attention to your surroundings. All right, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete. target safe. Time to figure out what the hell is behind this epidemic. Mission complete, and how? They're gonna tell stories about this one, boss. Boss, the intel team member you extracted was DOA. He kept insisting we listen, right up until his last breath, about the pathogen, and the old man who knows how to treat it. Code talker. He even told us where he is. Boss, let's make sure his death was the last. It's high time we met this code talker. Boss, you need to make contact with Code Talker, the old man who knows what the pathogen is. We have to stop this disease that's spreading across Mother Base. Select the mission on your iDroid.
Eli is a real handful. We just can't get him to trust adults. I only hope he doesn't cause any serious trouble.